decided not to sell their inherited lands as directed by Francis Coffer IV in his will. By 1878, the Atlas by G.M. Hopkins showed the land to be in the possession of the Pearsons. The tradition of public service by the Coffer family continued with Jack Pearson, the second son of Francis Coffer IV, and this time the generosity was directed at supporting the African American community with land for a school, a church, and a cemetery. In 1874, Jack Pearson took the lead in civic contributions by donating part of his inherited land for the Pearson Colored School. Later, in 1876, Jack Pearson donated land for the colored church to be called Zion for a Methodist church. Such a Methodist church was not built, and the Baptists took over the land under the leadership of dynamic Reverend Lewis Henry Bailey. Jack Pearson's 1876 land donation became home for the Little Zion Baptist Church and Cemetery. And in 1895, Jack Pearson donated more land for the church, presumably to provide a place of rest for circuit riding preachers. The founding pastor, Reverend Lewis Henry Bailey, did not live in Burke, Virginia. Rather, he walked or rode a cart to Burke from his home in Occoquan, Virginia, where he had established a church in 1883, the Ebenezer Baptist Church. For 40 years, Reverend Lewis Henry Bailey presided over the growth of Little Zion Baptist Church. It was said that in 1891, he even mortgaged his home to build the church. An amazing man, Reverend Lewis Henry Bailey was honored by having the slave pen Freedom House Museum in Alexandria dedicated to him. Originally born in Drainesville in Fairfax County, Reverend Bailey was sold in the slave pen and was taken to Texas, where he worked until freed at the age of 21. He then walked back from Texas to Alexandria, where he found his mother and was reunited with her. He took a railroad job and began learning how to read and write under the guidance of a fellow railroad laborer, a white man. He later worked his way to Wayland Seminary and was ordained a Baptist minister. Reverend Bailey was a founding member for 5 Baptist churches. In Alexandria, he helped start the Ebenezer Baptist Church in 1881. Reverend Bailey then moved to Occoquan, that he made his home with his family, and where he laid the cornerstone for Ebenezer Baptist Church in Occoquan in May of 1883. He was also a founding member in 1882 for Mount Pleasant Baptist Church in Flores or Herndon, Virginia, when it was reorganized. Reverend Bailey also worked with his sister-in-law, Jenny Dean, to establish Prosperity Baptist Church in Conklin, built in 1899. And most importantly, at least for this program, Reverend Bailey was also the founding pastor from 1891 to 1931 for Little Zion Baptist Church, for which I'm working to get a historic marker in 2011. Reverend Bailey would walk to get to those various churches, and later he got a horse, so that according to his daughter Annie Bailey Rose, and I quote, "Papa and I would ride to the various churches, eating soda crackers and ginger snaps," end quote. One of the most moving moments in my historical research was my visit to Catharpin, Virginia, where I visited the gravesite of Reverend Lewis Henry Bailey beside his wife Ella, his daughter, noted Alexandria philanthropist Annie Bailey Rose, and his sister-in-law Jenny Dean, founder of the Manassas Industrial School for Colored Youth. The most humble gravesite on the right is that for Reverend Bailey and his wife. In honor of Reverend Lewis Henry Bailey, I have decided to conclude this particular section of the program with a short videotape of the slave pen Freedom House that has been dedicated to his memory. That visit to the slave pen Freedom House was another emotional moment. personal fascination with Little Zion Baptist Church began in 1996 when the Foley family had our house built in the Edgewater community that was developed by Stanley Martin Company. We moved about 3 miles away from our first home in West Springfield to enjoy the larger lots and the beautiful neighborhood in this jewel that we call Edgewater. And here is our Edgewater home that is sited on 3/4-acre lot beside a water management area. Lake Meadow is a lovely wide circular road that has an exit to Burke Lake Road almost in front of Little Zion Baptist Church. Daily, I saw Little Zion Baptist Church, admired it, and noticed that a Korean-American Presbyterian church has been holding services in that lovely church. I later learned that it was leasing the church from Greater Little Zion Baptist Church. That African-American congregation, which grew from the original Little Zion Baptist Church, had moved to a larger church building on Zion Drive. An Edgewater neighbor shared with our community some NASA photos that show Edgewater over time and its historical and geographical relation to Little Zion Baptist Church. The topographical map shows Edgewater near the Pearson Church. Jack Pearson donated the land in 1876 that became home to Little Zion Baptist Church. The maps showed the same land area in 2005 and in 1990 before Stanley Martin built the Edgewater homes. In 1990, there was a farmhouse located inside Edgewater development, and by checking an 1878 atlas, it appears to be the site of the home of Jack Pearson and his family. The farmhouse had a road leading to the church that was evident in the 1990 photo. The maps also showed that there was a cemetery, the Charles Pearson Family Cemetery, inside Edgewater, that our community began taking care of more intensively as a result of the research for the 2011 historic marker for Little Zion Baptist Church. I would like to take this opportunity to thank an Edgewater leader, Gene McGrath, for his hard work in clearing the cemetery and setting up a sign and maintenance arrangements. So over the years,